Hey guys, it's Paul once again, and this time I have more light so you can see my face. Not that it really makes a difference whether you see my face or not, but I guess it's better. You don't really want to stare at a freaking dark video the whole time. I recently watched, or tried to watch, the movie The Fourth Kind. I downloaded it on a whim, and I wanted to look at it, and it just really got me thinking about Cannibal Holocaust again. And I'll get more into that movie in a second, but I really want to talk about Cannibal Holocaust. It's not really the underground movie that it used to be. I first heard of it on the internet, like a lot of people. I mean, probably I started getting into horror movies when I was probably around 15 or 14 years old. I mean, I've always watched Friday 13th and stuff growing up, and eventually that would lead me to become the kind of horror fan I am now. But at that time, I was really watching, I guess, the mainstream kind of 80s slasher stuff, like My Bloody Valentine, April Fool's Day, and Prowler, Maniac, that kind of stuff. Then I read about Cannibal Holocaust online. This was before it really became mass distributed in the United States. It really never was distributed very well in the United States until Grindhouse released it. But at that time, there was an unauthorized DVD release. But at first, I just downloaded it on a whim, not knowing what to really expect. I didn't watch too many Italian movies at the time, so I didn't know what I was going to see. And at that time, I was certainly shocked. It was something I've never seen before. It was not like any American slash film I had seen, not even remotely close to the kind of film Friday the 13th or Halloween might be. So it was certainly a shock to me, and it would gather up some interest in that kind of genre, or that kind of, I don't know if you would call Cannibal Holocaust a foreign film, but um, just, I guess, a different kind of film from a different part of the world, the whole Italian cannibal genre. These sort of films I didn't even know existed at the time. I fell in love with the movie, and that was really the first time I really experienced it. It was just something that I really never saw before. It took very graphic imagery and a very good story and put something great together. A lot of times when you get these really gory movies that really poorly made films, there are very few shocking films that are made very well. And in my opinion, Cannibal Holocaust is one of them. It wouldn't be really, people would always talk about Cannibal Holocaust as a shock movie, but it was never really out there in the media or really forced upon the film community like it would when it was re-released by Grindhouse Releasing. It was now in retail stores like Best Buy, and I had it pre-ordered way before, like most fans, so it wasn't really an issue of me getting it. But I think a lot of people went into that movie thinking, here you got this most controversial movie of all time, banned in this and this many number of countries. They go into a movie like that expecting the most shocking film, and that's really the wrong attitude to take when approaching Cannibal Holocaust, because it truly is a good film. A lot of people think with a name like Cannibal Holocaust that they're just going into a shocking gore fest, and some people are disappointed because it's really not what they expected. They expect a lot of blood, guts, and gore, and although Cannibal Holocaust has that, it doesn't have it really in the traditional sense. The real shock of the film is the animal mutilations. I mean, there is some guts and gore in the movie, but there's not as much as some people would expect. It's really the animal mutilations that made it so shocking. And a lot of people have, I think, unjustified animosity towards Cannibal Holocaust because they feel it's overrated. And people make a mistake by not liking a movie because it's overrated. You can't say you don't like Cannibal Holocaust because most people say because it's supposed to be this shocking movie, and it's not. You can't really judge it by that. Just look at the film for what it is as a whole and say, listen, this is the qualities of the film I really like. And I just hate that people keep judging the movie based on what society has kind of built around it, saying that it's this really shocking film with all these animal mutilations and all these things. That's not any reason to like it. Just look at the film for what it is. Even without the animal mutilations, which I will get into in a second, even without those, it's a really clever film. The movie being shunned for the purpose of having these animal mutilations is ridiculous. This movie was shot in the middle of the Amazon jungle. The Amazon jungle. Now, they weren't within walking distance of any city. I mean, from what I understand or learned or read about the making of the film, they had to take a friggin' boat ride to the set every day. It wasn't a normal filming scenario. It's not like they shot this movie out in friggin' New Jersey or something and started cutting up turtles or something like that. They were in the Amazon jungle with actual natives where every day these people butcher up animals and eat them. You have documentary film crews like of Mondo films and stuff, and they go and they document these weird practices, and it's okay when the Discovery Channel does it, but it's not okay when a movie does it. I understand that when Cannibal Holocaust does it, it's in bad taste. Obviously, I get that, but killing animals in this territory of the world is normal. The animal wasn't put to shame. Everybody ate part of the animal, and even when they ate the monkey brains, the natives loved it. It was a delicacy there. They love animal brains, and it was a great thing to them. I don't think it's such a big deal that there's animal deaths in the movie, and I hate that. Even Grindhouse Releasing, I hate when I put that DVD on and they have a friggin' warning in the beginning of the film, like, we don't support the actions of these filmmakers. Are you serious? Do you really have to defend yourselves? Are you really that scared of people attacking you, saying you support animal mutilations because you released a movie with some animal deaths in it? Grow some pride, grow some balls, man. Support cinema. You don't have to cower in a corner and just try to make money off of having a shocking film, but at the same time try to protect yourself, saying, oh, we don't support this kind of thing. I think most people know that. It's a movie from 1979. You're just re-releasing it. Obviously, hopefully you're not supporting animal deaths. I think most people would agree with that. I mean, even people on the film set didn't agree with some of the animal mutilations or what was going on. It was a plot device. It wasn't just put there for shock value, in my opinion. Although it might have been put there for some shock value, but it was a plot device to make the movie feel more realistic. Now, when I watched, well, first, I saw the show, Dual Survivor, right? It's a show that's on like Discovery Channel or something, and I watched a scene where they saw an iguana or some kind of creature up in a tree, and the next shot, they're cooking it. And I'm thinking to myself, what is the difference between this scene and the scene of Cannibal Holocaust? Now, this show, The Dual Survivor, has producers. These two guys, they're paid by the producers or the studio, whoever, to be on this show. Now, would those animals have died on these survival shows if money were not involved? If the show wasn't making the money and if it weren't put on TV, would that animal have died? No. That animal was killed with ultimately the purpose of money. Trying to entertain people. Now, these aren't really educational shows. I mean, you might be able to learn something about survival, but ordinary people like me who aren't going out into the jungle to survive aren't really learning anything from these shows because they're never going to use those tools, mostly, unless there's like an apocalypse, maybe, I don't know. But it's for the mere purpose of entertainment for the most part. And here you have these producers making money off of the killing of these animals in the jungle. What's the difference? I mean, I'm not shunning that show for doing it. I'm just saying, what's the difference? Why is there this double standard? Why is it this Discovery Channel television program is allowed to kill animals for money, but here you have Cannibal Holocaust, which is in the jungle and all these things. Why is it wrong that they do it? Because it's a horror film? Because it's a horror film with the name Cannibal Holocaust in the beginning? There's a double standard, and I hate that Cannibal Holocaust is so unfairly judged because of these animal mutilations. I'm really sick of it. I mean, you go on message boards, you go on IMDb and read the boards, and there'll be ongoing debates about the animal mutilations, and it's been, what, 25 years later or 30 years later. I don't get it. I don't think the film should be judged on those animal mutilations. It's a really good film. It started the whole kind of this found footage genre where people found footage and tried to put it off as like real found footage, you know. Blair Witch would eventually try to do that, and Cloverfield and Paranormal Activity and these kinds of horrible films. But Cannibal Holocaust was the one film that I think really did it well, did that idea justice, and it's a very I don't know, I can't say with 100% certainty that it was the first film to do it, but certainly the first film that did it well, or did it justice. I think Ruggero Deodato or the writers realized, well, we can't just make the whole film found footage. It has to be a framework around it that puts everything into perspective, that gives the movie a theme, a purpose, and that's what they do. But movies like Paranormal Activity, the whole movie is found footage, and it just kind of, to me, it's boring. I was watching The Fourth Kind, and it's a horrible movie, really horrible, not even frightening in my opinion anyway, and just a terrible film. But I would go on the message boards on IMDb and people are saying that it's an original idea, that they put together documentary footage, real footage. I mean, original idea? This was done 30 years ago by Cannibal Holocaust. It's not an original idea. It's okay when a big studio does it, it's original, but you want to forget about that movie, Cannibal Holocaust, because it had some grotesque things in it, and because the name is very, I guess, sleazy. I love the title Cannibal Holocaust, but I guess it does come off as a sleazy title. I bet you if it had a title like Deep in the Amazon or something similar to that, that the movie would be received in a different way, but I think the title really gives people a false impression of this movie that's a sleazy gore movie. And with the animal mutilations, it sealed its fate. It will forever be kind of shunned as this horrible shock film with animal mutilations. I really don't think it should. It's a really good film. I mean, even things like the end of the movie, just at the end of the movie, I think it ends with along the lines of Hal Monroe comes out of the building and he says, I wonder who the real cannibals are. Camera pans and you see a street sign that says Avenue of the Americas. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but subtle things like that make it a good movie. It had a purpose. It wasn't like Cannibal Ferox that was just an all-out sleazy cannibal film, like a really sleazy version of Cannibal Holocaust, which of course is a fun movie, but by no means as intellectual and intelligent as Cannibal Holocaust was. I hate that Eli Roth prances around his little Cannibal Holocaust shirt, trying to be this tough guy, like, yeah, I'm making torture porn, I'm so cool, and I love violent films, and I love Cannibal Holocaust, that's so cool, let's put Ruggero Deodato in Hostel 2. It's getting a bad rap, and it's really disappointing because it truly is a good film. So, ultimately, what I would love to say about Cannibal Holocaust is to don't judge the movie by the animal mutilations. Understand the context of the filmmaking of where these animal mutilations were taking place. It's deep in the Amazon jungle where natives did this sort of thing every day and they ate the animal. That turtle in that film, or that muskrat, or that monkey, they are martyrs in cinema. Ultimately, I mean, lots of animals are tortured every day, but here you have an animal that will be remembered forever. It's preserved on celluloid, and it will be a creature never forgotten. It's probably one of the most famous turtles in the world, and I have to thank Cannibal Holocaust for that. That turtle was not killed in vain. That turtle was eaten, and will forever be remembered as that turtle in Cannibal Holocaust. On that note, I just popped into my head. I hate how Grindhouse Releasing kind of put the animal cruelty friendly version on the DVD, which I feel, why do they feel they have to do that? Of course they do it to make money. They think that, you know, maybe if there's some squeamish people out there, this will make it easier for them to buy the movie. Is that really what it comes down to? I always had the impression that Grindhouse Releasing were not in support of censorship, I should say. But then why would you even make that an option? You should say, listen, this is the vision of the filmmakers with the animal mutilations. Keep it that way. Don't make a censored version. Don't edit their vision. This is the only vision of Cannibal Holocaust, and this is the way it should be. The one the director, producers, or whoever intended it to be. This is the version everyone should see, and I think Grindhouse Releasing really, they disappointed me with the whole disclaimer in the beginning, and that they put a family-friendly version of the movie on there, which is a joke. But I'm not saying that it's not a great DVD release, because it certainly is, with few exceptions, but it had some really cool features and stuff on there. But I just wish that they wouldn't put their tail between their legs and just put that disclaimer and that version of the movie on there. But yeah, I keep going off in another tangent, but just like I Spit on Your Grave, it's a misunderstood movie. Don't judge it by the animal mutilations. Don't judge it by how other people say it's shocking, or how it's not that shocking. People, like I said, will come out of the movie and say, well, what was the point of that? I thought it was really shocking, and it was, what, animal deaths? I mean, is that it? That's the only thing shocking? It kind of gives the movie a bad rap, when in fact it's a really intelligent movie. So check the movie out if you haven't already. I'm sure 90% of you have already seen Cannibal Holocaust. It's a great film. That's just my opinion. I love the movie, and I will always love the movie. That's just me putting my word out, defending the movie, because I believe it's truly a great film. So if you haven't seen it, give it a try. So I guess that's it. See you guys later. Look out for more videos. I want to do VHS review. It's been a while, but I'm going to try that. I'm going to give that a shot.